What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average ballistics enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, the purpose of today's video is we're going to be discussing ballistics, specifically for rifle marksmanship, but all ballistics are the same, but I will be directly applying this to rifle marksmanship to further help you guys actually be able to hit what you're aiming at. Now, real quick, if you like the content here on the Trench Grenade channel, all I ask that you do is hit the like button and comment down below if you've ever actually applied ballistics and understood ballistics properly, because you're always applying it, but if you ever understood it properly to help you when you are out in a field environment, firing your rifle or whatever. If you want to support the channel monetarily, all I ask is that you do that if you want to, and I'll send you a link to the Discord server. It's a good time, and you can see all that in the description down below. Okay, ballistics. There's three types of ballistics, okay? Ballistics, the definition of ballistics is it is everything that happens to the bullet after the firing pin strikes the primer. I'm going to say that part again. Ballistics is everything that happens to the projectile after the firing pin is struck, or the primer is struck by the firing pin. Now, there are three types of ballistics: internal, external, and terminal. Internal, external, and terminal. Let's go through them Barney style right now. Again, ballistics is everything that happens to the projectile after the firing pin strikes the primer, okay? So, internal. Internal is everything that happens to the bullet inside the actual weapon, or in this case, or in all cases, I guess, inside the barrel. Now, many of you guys might know that your barrel has a 1 in 7 twist, right hand 1 in 7 twist, right? So that is just telling you how many times the bullet will spin every inch. Makes sense? So internal ballistics is everything that happens to that projectile inside the barrel. Okay, now once the bullet leaves the muzzle, okay, or the barrel, now we're in external. So some things that can, the biggest things that will apply and affect the bullet during its path to the target are wind, gravity, air resistance, etc. Okay, air resistance and wind are the same thing. But this is where you get into the Coriolis effect and all that crazy stuff. All you need to know is that on a hot day, your bullet will perform different than on a cold day. On a windy day, that will impact the path of the bullet. Atmospheric conditions, gravity, you guys kind of get the deal there, okay? So wind, gravity, atmospheric conditions, if it's a hot day, if it's a cold day, these are all things that will directly impact the bullet's path to the intended target or the unintended target. So that is external ballistics. One thing to note, max ordinate. Max ordinate is the highest point the bullet will travel on its way to the intended target, okay? So if over here is internal, everything that happens to the bullet inside the barrel, and then boom, on the path to the target, that is external. The highest point that bullet will travel, that is max ordinate. Okay, you need to know that. That's the highest point the bullet will travel. Terminal. Terminal is once the bullet strikes its intended or unintended target. Terminal is everything that happens to the bullet inside the actual target. Now, it is important to note, most of you guys are using an AR-15 rifle or carbine, okay? The 5.56 gets its lethality from the velocity. Now, it will go the path of least resistance once it strikes its intended target. Why is that important for you guys to know? Well, if you're shooting a 10.3-inch barrel with a 55 grain FMJ, that bullet is not going to have very much energy or velocity. Thus, at 300, 400, 500 meters, the terminal ballistics of that round are going to suck. So, in general, the longer the barrel and the better the bullet, right? So 77 grain OTM out of a 20-inch barrel is going to perform phenomenally, whereas a 55 grain full metal jacket out of a 11.5-inch barrel is going to suck for terminal ballistics due to velocity. Does that make sense? So terminal is everything that happens to the bullet once it strikes its intended or unintended target. So in summary, guys, there are three types of ballistics. Ballistics is everything that happens to the projectile after the firing pin strikes the primer. Okay, period. Now, internal is everything that happens inside the weapon, inside the barrel, so you need to understand rifling, your rifle's capability, and understand what the capabilities are of that rifle barrel, okay, or rifling, okay? Everything external is everything that happens to the bullet on the way to the target, things that impacted atmospherics, wind, and gravity, okay? that's going to greatly impact that bullet's path of flight to the intended or unintended target. That is external ballistics. Some things that go in there are max ordinate. That is the highest point the bullet will travel on the way to the target. Terminal ballistics is everything that happens to the bullet once it hits its intended or unintended target. And the way 5.56 gets its killing potential is through velocity. So make sure you plan what type of bullet you're going to use for whatever you are doing in WROL, SHTF. You guys get the deal. Okay, that's a lot of talking. Guys, if you want to support the channel, hit the like button. Comment down below what you want to see next. If you want to support monetarily, there'll be links down below where you can join the Discord through a monetary donation. Thank you. If you guys enjoy, the direction the channel is going, let me know down below. And if you got this far, post an alien emoji to let me know who my real ones are. Thanks for being here, and until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade, your average ballistics enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.
Wolverines!